All right, we are back here with Dani. She was the one sitting in the courtroom. She's got all the inside scoop. How are you feeling, Dani, with the verdict?
I can't believe it. Honestly, I went in with low bar expectations because it's a defamation trial against a public person. You can say almost anything you will about public people. I wasn't sure what the jury were going to think of everything. And I just kept thinking to myself over the past, I don't know, it feels like a week since we were last in court with the two of them. Has the jury seen what the world has seen? Because the world has seen it. But is their reaction the same? And I can't believe it's the same. And I can't believe that it ruled on all three. Everything was defamatory. Everything was said with malice. Everything, it was untrue. And I was just like, what a weight. Crazy.
It is crazy. It is crazy. And I know since the last time we talked, there was one thing that people wanted to know from you, was since you were sitting in the courtroom, I know you didn't have any interaction with the jurors, but what kind of vibe did you get from were you there for jury selection or?
I wasn't. So that's the only day I'd missed at that point in time. That, and then there was one Monday I couldn't make it in. I think I was like 105. But my flight was late that day, so I didn't get in for jury selection, but it's hard. I didn't watch them too much. I do know we were kind of noting when they would take notes, like if there was a major thing, it was kind of shocking. And we did know that there wasn't much reaction from them concerning Amber's testimony, which at the time we were kind of wondering because it was like Johnny's testimony, we were all, I don't want to say rambunctious, but there was a lot of court reaction and we'd all had kind of had a talking to, I guess, from that. So I'd wondered if they had, someone come talk to them as well. Right. And so we were just a little bit more even keel. But it kind of seems like maybe, they were all watching the same thing we were watching. And at the courtroom during Amber's testimony was just I think I said the last time I was on here with you, with Johnny's, people were animated. When he laughed, you'd laugh. When he'd cry, people cry. And with Amber's, unfortunately, it seemed very hollow. And I think that was just felt all around. And there wasn't much reaction from people other than like, wow, can't believe she just said that, but all right.
That is interesting. So as far as the makeup of the jury, was there a lot of women? Did it skew men? Was it half and half? Young, old, any kind of feel on that?
So the age range was quite vast. It seemed like I did note it felt like there was an even bit between maybe one or two men more than women. But I know they were sitting in the alternatives as well. So it wasn't just the 7 jurors we saw, but we also saw the alternatives that were there too. So I don't know who was which ones out of the group that ended up actually ruling on everything. But there was a middle-aged woman, a middle-aged man there, but there was also younger people there. I did note that it seemed like the race was majority to myself Asian. So that was interesting to me to kind of grasp. I don't know, it's different than saying an all white male presence, was in the courtroom or anything. It was, so it was an interesting note to me that seemed to be almost the majority.
Interesting. Okay. And then, so when you guys were in court, and you were watching the jury, they seemed to react to Johnny's and they just sort of, were not. Okay.
Yeah. With Amber. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So when I did talk to you, you were sort of shocked, you would have been shocked if he won, but you also thought, he'd already sort of won in the court of public opinion. What do you think the future holds for Johnny Depp? Do you think he can return? Because I think I saw some crazy story that The Rock was going to be playing Captain Jack. I don't.
So I think no Johnny, no pirates, but I do hope he returns to some things. I worked for the Mouse at one point in my life. I've never known Disney to apologize for much. I'm not sure if they're going to apologize, try to have him back as Captain Jack Sparrow. I'm not sure if they'd even get him back because he said he wouldn't go back for $100 million or $300 million and 100 million alpacas or something foolish. But I do hope other film studios will start considering him again. I feel like he's been blacklisted for a very long time. And I hope that this opens doors career-wise for him. But like, I think I said the last time I was on here, but it might have been, I might have just been saying it on my podcast as well. I think Amber's career is definitely over at this point. And today, to watch everyone's reactions in court, Amber was there. Johnny was not. Johnny's been doing a tour with his friend Jeff Beck over in the United Kingdom, which actually Kate Moss was at.
I heard about that.
Very interesting. So yes, little reunion there. Yeah. But he's been overseas, so he's still there, it seems, right now. I'm not sure if he has a tour tonight. I meant to check that. But yes, so Amber's face though, and like Rottenborn, one of her lawyers, he looks like he was gonna cry, which I'm like, I feel bad for Elaine in some instances, but him, I mean, he said and did some things. I was like, sir.
Yeah, you and Elaine had a thing.
I loved her.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think is next for her? Do you think that she's gonna go on and,
I hope more televised courtrooms that I would sit back. I'd watch Elaine like Judge Judy. I would sit back, pop some popcorn. I thought she was like peak entertainment, that woman. And we did have a couple interactions. She's very nice in person. So no, I like Elaine, which is unfortunate because I know she's on the other team, but she's just doing a job. So yeah.
No. And I mean, I think there's been, from reading so much about this case, there's such a gravity to it though. There's been so much written about how people are, using this as fodder, and this is a very serious case.
Definitely.
What do you think about it? Because I know you said you also have dealt with domestic abuse. What do you think this is doing? Because I know Amber put that statement out about how, no, it set us all back.
So to that, I say she set us all back, unfortunately, with her own actions, which it does speak to her accountability. Like we noticed this, especially in the courtroom. She never took accountability for anything. She didn't do drugs until, well, maybe she did drugs at her wedding, but it was just a wedding. Like, why aren't we like chilling out about that? Like, it was weird how she wouldn't take any accountability whatsoever for anything she did. And so that's like, to that, I would say, maybe don't lie and then you won't hurt people's voices. But I really hope that this doesn't set women back. I hope what it does, and what I've seen it do so far, is really wake people up to the fact that all genders can be abused, all genders can be abusive, and that there's no gender when it comes to this type of violence. And it's something I think we need to start waking up to. We talk about how unreported, women in domestic violence situations are. I mean, with men as well. A lot of men don't see what's happening to them as abuse. Like the fact that Johnny didn't even see it when he would have to get another hotel room when traveling so that he would have somewhere else to go to that was away from his wife. Like that's abusive, even if it wasn't physical at that point. The fact that you have to order that other room, that's a very scary thing. And I hope it just wakes people up to the fact that it's not weak for men to come forward. It's not something that should be seen as small. That is a very serious issue, and it can be just as dangerous. And I hope it just really kind of wakes people up to that.
Yeah. Now, are you familiar with Greg Ellis by any chance?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Parts of the Caribbean. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So I had interviewed him a couple of years ago, and he was very passionate about Johnny. They're friends. He just recently put a YouTube out where he was pretty angry. I don't know if you saw that, where he thinks, you can't just go and defame somebody and just walk away like, oh, so sorry. Like, he's like, maybe there should be jail time. I don't know. How do you feel about maybe those comments he made?
Yeah. So Greg has been really outspoken for years now. I've been following him for a while concerning the Johnny Depp situation, and having worked with him and his own experience. And I will say there's people, they always give like, well, my experience with this person was XYZ. And it's always like, well, that doesn't mean in a domestic partnership, obviously. But things have called into question in America, we have innocent until proven guilty, and we have that obviously for a reason. And there are unfortunately situations like this where, in my humble opinion, Amber Heard utilized the Me Too movement to propel her career, and to propel it after her relationship was done with Johnny. And it's unfortunate that we're in a world like this, because yes, I would love the believe all women, that was such a powerful movement, the Me Too movement and everything. But unfortunately, there are situations like this. And I do think we need to play on the innocent until proven guilty. I do think we need to follow the judicial system to a point, because this can't be happening. You can't get those years back. And like Johnny said, he was doing this for his kids mostly, so that their legacy, wasn't tarnished. And it's unfortunate that so much can be taken away with just one accusation.
Yeah. And, they said, oh, this is the end. Do you think this is the end between these two? Because it's been, what, 3-4 years of back and forth?
6 years. Yeah. So I don't know. I hope it is. I really hope it is for both of them. I hope, unfortunately, with Amber's statement today, it does seem like she's not taking any accountability. I hope for her sake, she not only can take some accountability, even personally in her life, but I hope she does get the help she seems to so desperately need, and kind of move forward, so that she's not doing this to future partners, because as we know, she's done this to past partners, not just Johnny as well. So I hope that that's something she can kind of step forward with and kind of better herself from. But I mean, only time will tell, but I don't know if this is going to be the end for the two of them.
Yeah, no, that is true. I do want to ask you about the $2 million that she was awarded. Now, can you explain that to, our listeners or our viewers? What is the deal with the Adam Waldman thing?
Yeah. So I just watched the verdict. So I don't know when we're going to post this, but I just watched it. So I'm going to be kind of going off memory right now. But with Adam Waldman, I do know this is a countersuit that Amber had put up for $100 million against Johnny Depp for the statements that his lawyer, Adam Waldman, had made a few years ago, back in 2020, when the United Kingdom trial was happening. And the United Kingdom trial was a libel trial that Johnny Depp had placed against a tabloid newspaper called The Sun. And they had written that he was a wife beater. So he was basically saying that they couldn't call him a wife beater. Tabloids can call you many things. Very hard case to win, just like a defamation case. Like I was honestly shocked today when he won it. But he's always said that winning has never been his goal. It's bringing the truth to light. The problem with the United Kingdom trial, the public didn't see much of it. Unless you really went digging through the actual court documents, which you can find. I mean, I go through the Nick Wallace webpage to find them. You didn't really know the full truth of it. It was just what the tabloid newspapers were foddering. At that point in time, the tabloids were not kind to Johnny Depp. No, I'm not 100% sure what was going on with that. But during that time, Adam Waldman, one of Johnny's attorneys, came forward, made a few statements to them about how Amber had a quote unquote abuse hoax happening, that her and her friends had roughed up the place, spilled a little bit of wine, and then called the cops and, made up this huge fake claim against him. So I believe that's the statement that there were 3 statements that Amber alleged were defamatory towards her. There was only one that the jury ruled was defamatory actually against her today. And I believe they said it was the one where her and her friends had roughed up the place with a little bit of wine and everything, that was defamatory. And so Amber was awarded $2 million in damages for that, nothing in punitive damages. So yes, and they said that statement was made with malice. To be fair, I think all of Adam's statements were made with malice. I think as a friend, I know he's an attorney, but I think as a friend, he was quite angry about that entire situation, and the fact that the media at that point in time was being extremely skewed towards Amber. Like, there was no middle ground with that libel lawsuit, if you remember that time frame at all. And so I don't blame that at all for being awarded to her. I'm kind of surprised it was only 1 out of the 3 that they found, which was very interesting to me. So yes, she got $2 million, and I believe Johnny had 15 million, but I've heard that there's a cap in Virginia. So I haven't looked too far into that because we just had it all announced, but I think he won the full case. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's fantastic. All right. And then lastly, can you maybe name maybe 1 or 2 MVPs who you think are from the trial?
Oh my God, Camille Vasquez, like number 1. What an amazing woman. I like, you never would imagine it from her demeanor. She's very sweet as well. I've spoken to her a couple of times. And she's always so put together, and man, oh man, can she tear you apart when you're on the stand. My land. Benjamin Chu, a surprising MVP. But the man can't hold a poker face at all. Everything was an expression. I was like, Ben, where are we at here? And he was sweet too, because like the day after, or was the day that Amber's team had tried to have the whole case dismissed, and Ben had gotten up and done this amazing argument for why the case shouldn't be dismissed, and the judge awarded that the case should not be dismissed. And as they were leaving that day, people cheered for him, and he was very, very appreciative of that. Yeah. And then I'm trying to think of the other, and I mean, I've got to go with Elaine. Yeah. Yes. She's a fan favorite of mine. The entertainment value was just peak, but I do feel bad for Elaine in the sense of, I think there was a point, and I think you can see it very clearly, where she no longer believes her client. I really do. It was at the end of when she was questioning Amber for the counter. It was a cross-examination after Amber's first testimony. Mm-hmm. And she starts to get a little confused. And then she says, "Oh, you know what, Your Honor, I have no more questions." And it was a very awkward moment in the courtroom. Amber literally stormed off the stand and left before the judge had even dismissed the jury, before the judge had left the courtroom, which was extremely disrespectful. But I really do think you see Elaine just being completely frustrated with her client, shell-shocked. So yeah.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. Now, what's next for you? I mean, you have really been in this, so.
Yeah, for over 2 years now, I've been dealing with it on, especially my TikTok. But we went through the court documents over on my podcast, Until Tipsy. We've been going through incidents, everything having to do with this case for a while now. We're a true crime podcast. We're still going to remain a true crime podcast. We are very passionate about wrongful convictions, and in fact, there's a case that Johnny Depp was extremely passionate about himself concerning a wrongful conviction. And we're going to be looking into that soon here. So that's something that we have on our horizon. And it's so funny that Kathleen Zellner ended up being one of his law firms, because she's huge in wrongful convictions. And we've talked about her an awful lot on the podcast. But yeah, I'll be heading back to my true crime, and I'll be dabbling here and there with the celebrity issue of true crime as well. But yep, on my TikTok and on my podcast, Until Tipsy.
All right. Well, we will keep following, and thank you so much for all your insight. I mean, nobody knows, what it's like to be in there. So, we appreciate all your insight. That's for
Thank you so much for having me. It was fascinating. I'm really glad. I did that first week was for myself. I was just I want to just go and see it, because I've been researching it for so long, and wow. I can't believe this captured the world the way it did.
It definitely did. That is for sure. All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
You too.